Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're following the money. We're going to uncover this astonishing, truly systemic pipeline that connects agricultural subsidies, ultra-processed foods, and the pharmaceutical industry. We're going to map out exactly how the modern diet is engineered from the ground up, and how the consequences of that diet ripple all the way into our healthcare system.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover subsidizing empty calories, engineering the bliss point, food deserts and health poverty, and finally, the food-pharma profit loop. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. Subsidizing empty calories. How taxpayer dollars shape the food supply.
So why is it that ultra-processed foods, the stuff pumped with high-fructose corn syrup and soy oil, are basically always the cheapest options at the grocery store? What happens in 3 distinct steps. First, massive government policies, like the Farm Bill, direct the vast majority of agricultural funding toward very specific commodities. Second, this translates into billions of dollars subsidizing the overproduction of crops like corn, soy, and wheat. And third, because these crops are now artificially cheap and incredibly abundant, food manufacturers scoop them up as the primary filler ingredients and sweeteners for ultra-processed foods. It just drastically lowers their production costs.
You have to consider the sheer scale of this. Since 1995, over $116 billion in direct subsidies have gone exclusively to corn producers in the United States. Meanwhile, specialty crops, which, by the way, is just the industry's term for actual fresh fruits and vegetables, receive virtually zero direct income support. So we are literally paying to fund the foundational ingredients of junk food, all while leaving nutrient-dense produce to fend for itself on the open market.
To put that into perspective for your wallet, let's look at the financial reality. 100 calories of unprocessed whole foods cost approximately $1.45. But 100 calories of heavily subsidized ultra-processed food, that costs just 55 cents. So calories derived from healthy foods are roughly 2.6 times more expensive to purchase. Government policy is directly making empty calories financially far more accessible than healthy ones.
Section 2. Engineering the bliss point. Big Tobacco's playbook in the snack aisle.
Once they have those artificially cheap ingredients, food scientists rely on the triad of taste to hit what is known in the industry as the bliss point. This is a precise, calculated chemical ratio of sugar, fat, and salt designed to literally hijack your biology and bypass your normal fullness mechanisms. Sugar triggers the reward centers to maximize dopamine, the exact same feel-good chemical associated with addictive substances. Fat provides a creamy, rich mouthfeel that encourages you to indulge, and salt enhances the flavor while actively overriding the hormones that tell your brain you're full. By perfectly calibrating this triad, companies create a neurological reward so high that moderation becomes incredibly difficult.
Ever wonder why you can mindlessly crush an entire giant bag of cheese puffs? That is thanks to vanishing caloric density. It's basically a magic trick played on your brain. The food is physically designed to melt almost instantly in your mouth. Your brain gets the massive flavor and dopamine hit, but because the physical density vanishes so quickly, your body fails to release satiety hormones like leptin. This forces a nutritive mismatch. Your body keeps demanding you eat more because it feels like it hasn't actually consumed any calories or nutrients, leaving you chronically hungry while you're wildly overconsuming energy.
And where exactly did this hyper-focused engineering come from? Well, starting in the 1980s, big tobacco companies, we're talking giants like Philip Morris and R.J. Reynolds, actually bought major food brands. They directly applied their decades of expertise in habit formation, product engineering, and micro-targeted marketing straight to America's kitchen pantries. They knew exactly how to create a product designed for daily, compulsive consumption.
Section 3. Food deserts and health poverty. The systemic trap of cheap calories.
When we combine subsidized ingredients with this bliss point engineering, the results are staggering. Today, 56% of American calories come directly from those subsidized corn, soy, and wheat derivatives. Now consider that low-income populations spend about 30% of their income on food. Because of that massive price gap we talked about earlier, socioeconomically disadvantaged groups are structurally forced to rely on these cheap, ultra-processed calories. The data clearly shows that a reliance on junk food isn't just a failure of individual willpower, it's a class-based systemic trap engineered by policy and pricing. Food poverty directly creates health poverty.
The crucial takeaway here is a pretty dark irony. Through tax dollars, the public is simultaneously funding the root cause of metabolic diseases by subsidizing the very ingredients that make us sick, and then turning around and paying billions in public healthcare dollars required to treat those exact same diseases.
Section 4. The Food-Pharma profit loop. Managing symptoms instead of curing disease.
This brings us to a highly effective, exact economic loop.
demonstrating how the fast food industry basically acts as a lead generator for the medical industry. Step 1. The engineered food supply creates a population suffering from obesity and diabetes. Step 2. The healthcare system diagnoses these metabolic disorders. Step 3. Big Pharma steps in to sell expensive, lifelong treatments. And Step 4. Insurance companies raise premiums across the board to cover these massive recurring costs. That means everyone pays for this loop whether you participate in it or not.
Because this entire system is designed to manage sickness rather than promote health, the pharmaceutical industry fundamentally focuses on lifelong, chronic symptom management. Think about the business model reality for a second. A patient with type 2 diabetes taking daily medication is a predictable, recurring revenue stream that can last decades. On the flip side, there is virtually no corporate financial incentive to promote preventive medicine or a whole food diet, because a healthy person just doesn't require a daily prescription. Consequently, the global pharmaceutical and clinical nutrition markets are absolutely soaring precisely because of this massive chronic disease burden.
Now, to prove this isn't some wild conspiracy theory, but rather a system of perfectly aligned corporate incentives, we just have to trace the shared investment ownership at the very top. Major institutional funds like BlackRock and Vanguard are consistently the top shareholders in both fast food conglomerates and global pharmaceutical giants. From an investment perspective, their financial interests are completely aligned across the entire pipeline. The entity making the food that causes the illness and the entity selling the medicine to treat the illness, well, they share a singular goal: maximum return on investment for their shared shareholders.
Which leaves us with a really profound question about the future of our health and our public policies. As long as the system is literally structured to profit from both the cause and the lifelong treatment of metabolic disease, how do we actually break the cycle? It has to start with awareness. I hope this explainer has given you the structural blueprint to make informed choices for yourself and understand exactly what is happening on the shelves and in the pharmacies around you. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep questioning the pipeline.